Hi guys, EBPMAN here with Tablets for Me. And as many of you know and been following the channel, I've been on the beta program, on the pilot program for Samsung Pay for a little bit over a week now. And just recently, I received the Android Pay application and been trying to use it. And I wanted to share my experience with you on the differences between the two applications and which ones provides the best digital wallet experience. Let's check them both out and let's talk about the pros and cons. Here we have Android Pay, and next to it we have Samsung Pay. What are the biggest differences for me is the fact, and I hope you can notice this immediately, is that Android Pay includes all your loyalty cards. So here at the very bottom you have all your loyalty cards listed, and what you can do is just by simply tapping on the loyalty card, you'll be able to see the barcode associated with that loyalty card. Samsung Pay does not have that feature. Samsung only has your credit cards listed. Now they have said that this is coming in a future release, but right now, the way I look at it, Android Pay has Samsung Pay beat because it includes the loyalty cards, and when you're going to check out, it's really easy to lift your loyalty card. All you have to do is tap it and have your scan complete and then pay with your credit card. You can't do that with Samsung Pay. You have to pull out your plastic. Both Android Pay and Samsung Pay use similar technology, meaning that the way that your card is stored, it uses virtual cards to replace your physical card. So you're not in any way risking exposing your real credit card that's in your wallet or your purse during a purchase. So both of them use the virtual cards, but both of them have the same flaw. These last four digits here, this that you see here on both of the cards represent my real credit card number. The problem with having that number displayed is that in the event that the cashier requires the last four digits of your card and would like to see it, that card and the virtual card that's being used for payment are different. So what you have to do is you have to go into the card itself and then look up the virtual card. And you see that virtual card number appears here. The same thing is true on the Samsung Pay. Your virtual card appears in this area. This is frustrating for me. Both providers, I've seen this being a problem with both of them, should have the virtual card number easily accessible or viewed on the card screen itself and not force you to go into the app. Because there's not a lot of education in this space with the cashiers, I've seen kind of the doubtful face where they don't trust what they see. However, if they just saw the credit card, just as it was illustrated earlier, they seem to be more trusting. So that's a weakness on both applications. Now, both applications or digital wallets have the ability to hold multiple credit cards. The Samsung gives you the ability to just swipe from left to right to get your different card, and so when you switch, now I'm using this card, so all I have to do is switch back and forth. What I have to do is I have to choose the card that I'd like to use. So here I have two cards, and I'm able to have multiple cards just like I can with Samsung Pay. So I would have to choose that card and then set it as default so that that card could be used. Now, with Samsung, all you have to do is choose your card, and once you moved over to it, that becomes a card for you. So there's really, the concept of having default isn't really there because you're just swiping between cards. Now, adding a card is pretty similar on both applications. In this case, you choose the plus. You would basically scan your card, and you have the option, though, here to choose either a credit card or debit card, and also a gift card, as well as a loyalty program card, as you saw here. Unfortunately, with Samsung Pay, all you have the ability to do is scan your credit card. It only does one thing. So the difference here is that you can add cards and loyalty cards. The other big difference I would say is that cards that don't work on Samsung Pay do work on Apple Pay. So I've been able to register my American Express. I've been able to register my Citibank card. I have not been able to register those cards on Samsung Pay. It doesn't work yet, but I'm sure that that's being addressed after the pilot phase. But for now, the number of cards or the type of cards that you can register on Android Pay seems to be significantly higher than those that you can on Samsung Pay. Both applications are going to give you the ability to view history. So when I tap on my card for Samsung, I get my transaction history of all the charges I've made. And when I tap on my card on Apple Pay, if I have some transactions, you see here for this card I don't have any transaction history, you would see all your history here. You see the same approach where you have your transactions and then you also have your virtual card number on both sides. So in this case, they're pretty equal. I would just question the placement of the virtual card number. I would have preferred to have my virtual card number on the top and have the transactions on the bottom, because as this continues to build, it's going to push my virtual number down, and you'll need those 4 digits if you ever purchase something over $80 using your phone. The next question I've had on Android Pay and Samsung Pay is, can they coexist? Today I'm using an S6 to illustrate the Android Pay, and I have my Note 5 showing the Samsung Pay, and the answer is that both can exist on the same phone. You cannot use them both at the same time, though. So what I found myself is switching back and forth. So this is my production phone, and the one that I use to make my purchases. This is my demo phone, and what I find is that I can switch back and forth and try it. But again, I find that I can have more success using Samsung Pay because the stores in my location that have NFC may not have them all enabled. But again, you can have them both on the same phone. Now, one other thing that is unique between the two applications is that will have a different implementation when it comes to checking out from purchases that you have on your phone. So if you're using a phone to buy something and you're not using a terminal, so let's say, for example, you're booking some tickets to go to the movies, what you'll be able to do is use Android Pay built inside of the phone and use it to pay for those purchases. So you don't have to store your credit cards in each one of these websites like you may do when you have all these loyalty cards or you make purchases. And once again, it's more secure because you're using your virtual card, not your real card. All of us have received a message in the mail where your card is being replaced because your number at one point or another for your credit card may have been compromised. And it's typically because all these sites that you register to may have some type of vulnerability that was identified, and they are contacting you just in case. Once you use an app like Android Pay or Samsung Pay, you start dealing with virtual numbers, so that reduces your risk significantly. So once again, big difference with Pay is the fact that it has the ability to integrate with applications during your purchase that are not at a local business but are done on the phone. Samsung Pay does not have that ability. So if you ask me what is my preferred digital wallet when it comes to the Android ecosystem, I have to say at this time it's Samsung Pay. Even though there's an inconvenience factor of not having my loyalty card built into the application, I do find that my checkout process is more consistent with Samsung Pay. I wish the loyalty cards were inside of the Samsung Pay application, or as an alternative, I wish that Android Pay could leverage the technology built into the Note 5 and also the S6, which I found to be pretty disappointing because here I have a phone that is capable of reading both NFC tags and also or NFC communication, and also capable of speaking to the mag strip reader, and Android Pay cannot access that technology on either of these phones. So even though your phone is capable of speaking to 2 different technologies, Android Pay can only leverage one. So Google, why not make it work with both? And then you'd have a home run because you have your credit cards and you also have your loyalty cards as well as gift cards built in. But that is not the case, and that's why I continue to lean towards Samsung Pay, because I want to be able to check out. And that's pretty much it.